You die. Welcome to Orts Gaming. I am Orts, and today we're going to take a look at Aftermath Early Access, which is a game created by Free Reign Entertainment, formerly known as Hammerpoint Productions, but the dev team there, including new game designer Artemis Knives, split off from OP Productions, citing that they were unable to make the changes to the prior game, War Z Infestation Survivor Stories, that they wanted to make. They made an agreement, split off, started Free Reign, and now we have an upgraded version of that engine and an entirely new game experience. So to start with, let's talk about monetization, because this was obviously a really big problem with War Z Infestation, and whether you played the game or not, I'm sure more than likely you've heard about it, the controversy around it on forums, or you experienced it firsthand. In the store, you used to be able to purchase such things as food, lockboxes, armor, backpacks, ammo, all such things that could give you a distinct pay-to-win advantage if you spent real money on GC and were able to buy all of these things. Now in this game, they said they wanted to make sure they didn't make the exact same mistakes as they had before, and so at this point they have said customization only. And to show you what they have in the game currently in its early access state is quite a few options. Now, what you're able to do is completely customize your character. As you see right now, I have a character who is wearing some black clothing, which is obviously great for night, and a cowboy hat. Now say I don't like that cowboy hat. I want to wear a sombrero. Well, I already have one unlocked, so I can put that on. Or if I wanted to wear a baseball cap, I have that choice. But what you see here is the ability underneath, obviously, you see a dollar value. And that's where you can collect money in-game from zombies and eventually be able to purchase those. But if you want to support the game and buy GC, your microtransactions are all customization based. So you're able to buy different helmets, masks, which includes sunglasses. If I want it to look like Kanye West, the option is there. Also, you can buy chests, legs, feet are not currently available, and eventually it looks like they're going to have complete costumes which you can purchase. So everything does have a different purchase price. Some of them are depending on 195 GC here. You know, some helmets are 295, 145. But the good thing is all you're seeing is customization options. So if you're wanting to support the developer and wanting to spend a little bit of money on the game, all you're getting is the opportunity to make your character look exactly the way you want. Now what is not in the game right now, which is coming, which I will show you on the gun I have by opening up the attachments menu, are skins. So that is another way they're going to be able to make money by monetizing the game. And I'm unsure at this time if you'll be able to find blueprints in the game to just make those skins. But if you can't, I have no issue with that. It's very similar to what Counter-Strike Go has done, and you can acquire skins in-game and obviously by purchasing them, and I have absolutely no issue with that. It's just another customization option which gives no distinct advantage in the game. It's just something that you would personally like to do to make your weapons or knives look better. So to me, that is a really big benefit over their prior game, just due to the fact that there is no pay-to-win nature to being able to change skins on your character. And as you can see, the next part I'll discuss right now, because I already have it open, is obviously your options you have for guns. Now, you are able to have attachments. These you can find in the game, or you can, in some cases, craft them. As you can see, I have the ability to put 9mm bullets in this gun, or crafted 9mm bullets. You also can have an MRK silencer or a crafted silencer. So guns have the option to have a few different attachments depending, and it also depends on the guns. Different guns have different amounts of attachments they can have. As a military assault rifle can have more attachments than the crafted military assault rifle can. So while we're talking about crafting, this would be a good time to show you guys everything you can craft. Now, obviously, you have tons of options here, and I still have some locked, as you can see. Those are blueprints that I need to find in the game. So there are item boxes in the cities and around the towns, which you will open, and RNG based, you can get a lot of different things in those boxes, be it guns, armor, ammo, but blueprints are one thing you can get to unlock some of these things. So whether it be a spike strip, an animal trap, a potato garden, being able to make a backpack, clothing, a cowboy hat or a shirt, which is in right now. I could make a harvesting axe. I have the ability to make guns, silencers for those guns, frag bombs, landmines. I can even make a sniper rifle. Also, melee weapons are something that you can make, long as you have the required items to make these. You can also make armor and ammo. Also, there are a few options for health that you can make. You can make charcoal. There's cold syrup, homebrew bandages, homebrew disinfectant, and homebrew penicillin. So if you were unable to, say, acquire some health items while you were looting, you were injured, hit by a zombie, at least you still have options to bring your health back up. I absolutely love this system. I think it's awesome that you have the ability to craft so many different things, especially your own armor and your own guns. Long as you've gone out, got the items that you need to create this stuff, and that's just looting. All you got to do is loot, which we'll get to a little bit later. You loot stuff, you can break it down, and then all of a sudden you're able to make your own guns and ammo, so you're never completely left out in a fight. So, you know, if you for some reason have lost all your guns or you're fairly new to the game, you have the ability to go out, loot, break stuff down, get it all back to your GI, and then you can always come back later on and create all this stuff. So let's go to that next. I mentioned the GI, Global Inventory. So your Global Inventory is a spot you have that is for every server. It is persistent with your character because you only create one character, and that character you use on all servers. Now in safe zones, which there are multiple on the map, there is one in the northeast corner, the southwest corner, and then scattered around the map there are 3 other zones, all circled in blue. The blue circled safe zones are considered civilian or lawman safe zones, where your red safe zones are bandit safe zones. Now what this means is, based on a reputation system Aftermath has, if you go out and kill on sight, you'll get a negative reputation, which will eventually make you a bandit. And being a bandit not only gives you a name in red, but it will make you, when you die, if you choose to spawn in a safe zone, you will spawn to those safe zones, where if you are a civilian, you will spawn in one of the 3 blue circled ones, which is a civilian lawman safe zone. So there's, well, it almost looks like a vending machine of sorts, which is your global storage or global inventory. Now, the big difference between Infestation Survivor Stories / War Z and this is there is no infinite global inventory. You only have 100 slots available, and that to me is a very good design decision, just based on the fact in prior games you were able to go out and collect all the guns and everything you'd ever need and just continue to store it. And I really feel that by doing that, you almost make it so there will be people that will play the game that want to do nothing but continually loot, which they have added PvE servers to the game which don't have a global inventory. So if you don't really want to fight players and you just like grouping with people, there's an option there. Now what you do when you limit the slots to 100 slots, in my opinion, is eventually you're going to have a full global inventory. The next thing to do is go out and fight, use your stuff, lose your stuff, go back, loot, fight, repeat. And you know, I think they have found a really fine balance there. Now they haven't been completely unfair. You can stack stuff, ammo stacks, your medication stacks, even as far down as stuff like armor. If it has the same durability, even though it doesn't have a times number beside it, it has stacked for me. So I do have more than one, as I selected here, armor steelcraft. That's full durability. There is more than one of those there. There's multiples of them there. Like if I click on it, it hasn't moved, but it's moved one to my inventory. So I have multiple of those stacked there. So they've been pretty fair. You can't stack guns, but there are a lot of other things you can stack. Melee's the same way. You cannot stack them on top of each other, but I believe that's a fair system, because if you could stack them again, that would basically give you infinite inventory. So like I was saying, I think that's a great system. I think they've done that right, and it excites me, and I hope that they don't make any too big of changes to that inventory. If any, I like where it is as it is. So the next thing I wanted to talk about, guys, was melee, gunplay, first and third person, and obviously looting and the importance of looting. So we'll start with looting, and the big thing with looting in this game compared to, say, Infestation or other games of the like, is sometimes there's just stuff you don't feel that's necessary to pick up. Like right now I walk across a red party cup. You wouldn't really think there'd be a great reason to pick that up, but you know what, I'm gonna pick it up, right click it, and I have the ability to break into. So when I break that party cup down, it's going to turn into plastic for me. I could also, let's say, need to drink, so I'm going to drink this soda. Well, I drink that soda, replaces some of my thirst, and now it gives me an empty can. I can break that empty can down, and now it's going to give me metal. So the importance of that is the fact that everything you break down gives you those materials, and in the end of the day, those materials are what are going to help you craft your armor, your bullets, your guns, your silencers, and a lot of other stuff you need, be it barricades, gardens, backpacks, and stuff like that. Even your medication. You know, everything you break down contributes to something you can craft in the world, which gives you a self-sustaining ability for anything you need. Everything this game offers, base building, obviously your healing, your survival, weaponry for PvP, everything that you need can be crafted, so everything you find on the ground actually has a use. Even if you break it right down to the fact that I have this dirty water. Well, there's not a lot I can do with dirty water, but I have purification tablets I've found. I can purify that water, becomes clean water, I can drink that. Now I have an empty bottle, I can break that down, and it's now given me another plastic. So regardless of what you come across, whether it be a red party cup or an empty plastic bottle, when you see stuff like this, you're not seeing trash. What you're actually seeing is a crafting material that's going to get you one step closer to something you're in the middle of wanting to craft. So by them making the looting system like that, and it really all bases itself around the crafting system, which is just so important and makes the game so much more enjoyable, at least in my eyes, that there's not much you're going to see that you're not going to want to pick up. Maybe a flashbang, you know what, that has good possibilities for PvP. Food, if I needed food, you got food. Now I'm not picking it up right now because I don't need it for obvious reasons. I am full on food, and I do already have some in my bag. So, and I always, of course, want to watch my bag space, but you know, even if you don't need something to drink, say like a Romanoff Energy, if I pick that up, drink it, again, empty soda can, now I have another metal. So that's one step closer to that next bullets that I'm going to make, or that next gun I'm going to make. The next part of looting, which I had referred to a little bit earlier in crafting, of needing blueprints that come from these item boxes. So these item boxes have the opportunity to drop guns, blueprints, backpacks, all sorts of things. Obviously you don't know what's in it until you open it. I'll open this one up, and it's given me a huge pouch backpack. So that's a lot bigger than what I had. So now I have a bunch of extra spaces in my backpack to continue looting. This is actually, at time, the second biggest backpack in the game. So that was obviously really helpful to find. A large battery, again, something you know you wouldn't really think you'd want to pick up, almost like trash loot, but again, I can break that down. And even if you want to know what you got, right hand corner there, that removed the battery, and I just got myself some metal adhesive and chemicals for that. I found some homebrew penicillin, again something you can craft but also find in the game world. A filled fuel pod. Now you won't always find those full, but these puppies are for vehicles, something I have not mentioned yet. At this time I have seen 4 vehicles in the game. I have seen an SUV, a van, a police car, and a dump truck. Yes, a dump truck, and it is awesome as it sounds. But you need gasoline. That is the only requirement when you find a vehicle that hasn't been touched, of course, because it could be missing durability. But if it's a brand new vehicle, there'll be a flashing light underneath it to signify that it is a vehicle you can use, and you need to fill it with fuel. And if you find an empty fuel pod, you can look around for gas stations on the map, which are signified with the little yellow gas station symbol, and you can go there, and if you're lucky enough that one of those gas stations has a working pump, you can refill those. So on the topic of looting, where do you want to loot? Where do you want to find the best stuff? Where's the best stuff to go? Well, you have a lot of options, and that's the beautiful thing about what they've done with this game, is this map is enormous. And obviously you're going to have your spots, you're going to find the most PvP, and in most cases the most reward, which are going to be your cities. So you have Bamborough, which is a city, Loot Party, or at least that's how I believe it is said. And on your east side of the map you also have Causeville, and you have Luton. So those are your cities. You're going to find some pretty good loot there. Lots of civilian stuff with the cars and the houses, which are going to bring you pistols, pistol ammo, shotgun ammo, item boxes obviously in some of the houses. The ones you're really looking for obviously in the police station have the best chance to drop guns, and also health items, first aid kits, rupture kits, and those are the like civilian spots at this time are the best place to get medication. You'll also find other spots on the map signified by 2 blue guns. Those are military spots, so a good spot to go if you're looking possibly for a better gun, or 5.56 ammo, you know, possibly sniper ammo, things like that, but also a little bit more dangerous. You have farms. Farms are good obviously for finding food. Again, civilian spot, you're going to find medication and that, you know, pistols, stuff like that. And obviously the airport. If you've played any other of the games, DayZ, such as that, you know usually airports are the highest risk reward area, and I don't really feel it's any different here. You're gonna find your ARs, your sniper rifle, probably, I mean, I don't know for sure, but for blueprint wise I found most of my best blueprints down there. But also you're always going to find PvP there, tons of zombies, huge risk reward. And as I had mentioned before, you see gas stations marked on the map. So those are gas stations, but not only just gas stops. As you can see, it looks a little bigger than this. It's just a gas station, and I'm at one right now, and it is. There was houses there. Obviously there is also a police station here. So another good looting spot. Not all of them have police stations, but you know what? They're all worth looking at, because you're going to at least find some stuff, and there's a chance that you could find some better loot at them. And the other spots on the map, and there are a ton of them, are camps. They're marked with green markers. Now those could be tents. Those could be tents and motorhomes, just motorhomes. Those are civilian loot spots. Good places to find food, drink, health items. Sometimes you will find item boxes, pistol ammo. The odd time you're lucky you'll find pistols. Also item boxes once in a while. So very worthwhile to go to. If you're just starting the game and you don't feel like you're prepared to get right into the action, then you know what? You have an opportunity. You could scour the entire map without ever hitting a big city and going camp to camp to camp, and you could really not only have the ability to survive, but you'll be able to find things here and there You know, it might be a little tougher to find the best of the best stuff because you're not getting into that risk reward. But if you're just trying to get into the game, really get a feel for what you're trying to do, awesome way to do it. And you know what? I know a lot of people that have found blueprints for the Manslayer assault rifle in some of those VRs. So, you know what? Even though the risk reward isn't as huge, you're still going to find some good loot regardless of where you go. And I'm a big fan of that. I'm really a big fan of that they've done that, because you know what? Not everybody wants to jump into the game first time and just go out there and absolutely get hammered. So it gives people the opportunity to feel out the game and just go around to those. And you know what? Even as a veteran player, if you want to go out as a Bambi, you're not, you know, you're not ready to go out fully geared and you just want to go out collect some stuff, you've lost a lot of stuff, it's a good place to do it. So, as you can see here, I just switched from third to first person. It's just defaulted to the C key. So it's nice and quick to change in between. I find meleeing in first person a lot easier than first person. So I really do like that you have the ability to change that quickly on the fly. Also, I should mention, garbage piles are great piles to find stuff like pipes, broken glass, stuff like that. And also, not a bad place to find tools and parts. Some of the hardest things to find in the game right now are tools and parts outside of industrial areas. Garbage piles, good place to look for them. But back to what I was saying. So gunplay and melee. If you've played Infestation War Z, you already know what this feels like. It is almost an exact carbon copy, and that is a good thing. I always really enjoyed the gunplay and the melee of Infestation. It feels very smooth, feels very reactive, and obviously in a game like this, when sometimes you need to think in a split second, is a huge advantage to be able to move and react quickly. Now, I don't have any barricades on me currently, but that is another really big thing, is barricades can be put down very quickly. So if you're getting attacked and you have a good reaction time, this game is absolutely going to benefit you, because you can react in seconds. You can slap down a couple barricades, medicate, and you're back in the fight. It's not, if somebody shoots you, you're done. You know, you have the option to quickly make some plays, you know, get yourself settled, figure out where they are, and give yourself at least a shot to fight it out. So I think that's awesome. You know, some other games you might come across, if you know, you get caught off guard, you're pretty much toast if you're out in the open. But if you have barricades, you can at least give yourself a couple of seconds to reorient yourself. So that's a big thing for me. Melee, like I said, I love first person. Smooth as pie. Absolutely love it. You know, some other survival games you may have played, I know that I've played, melee is not anywhere as close to as responsive as what you get with this game. I think it's the biggest strength, especially when you're trying to, you know, fight PvE. You're trying to fight those zombies. And when those zombies hit you and hurt you, you're wasting a lot of medication. Now, that's not to say that there aren't situations currently, and again, let's remember this is alpha, where, you know, the old zombies here will do the slip and slide once in a while, or hit you when you don't feel like they should, when you don't feel like they've actually hit you. It happens. Again, alpha. So there's no problem with that. But in most cases, you know what? It's so reactive that, you know, if long as you go to first person or third person, use your cursor, just make sure you aim for the head. Just make the most of what you do. It's nice and quick. As you can see, it's nice and smooth. Unbelievable. I absolutely think melee is a big strength of this game, and in this genre, I think it's the best of the best for meleeing. As for shooting, like I said, feel it's very responsive. You never feel like, obviously in third person, if you shoot, you know, you might spray a bit, and that's the way it should be, right? There's no reason that you should just shoot and it should hit all the time in third person. Now, that was something that Infestation did have, where when you were in third person, you could zoom in and just zoom your cursor in. In this game, no, not anymore. If you're going to zoom in for more aim, you're going into your iron sight, as you should. That makes it a little bit more realistic. You can shoot off the hip. And as you can see, that was pretty accurate. With an AR, it won't be quite that accurate, but pistols are extremely accurate at this time at short ranges. So, you know, if you don't feel like the need to zoom in, you don't feel in any danger, easy. You want to zoom in, line up your iron sight, spot on, feels great. And I think, you know, anytime in this genre, that is going to be a huge benefit to you. When you have a system that has great melee, great gunplay, it absolutely makes the experience that much more enjoyable. So, just a few more things outside of that. Obviously now I've spoken about customization with monetization, showed a little bit about crafting, looting, and talked about how great looting is because you can use everything to craft, which I think is awesome. And then, you know, showed you a little bit of melee gunplay just to give you an idea of kind of what you're looking at. Like I said, the map's huge. There's a reputation system. You can be a good guy if you want, you know, by only killing bandits, making sure you're not killing civilians. So it kind of gives you some role-playing options too. And I've run across people that will not shoot civilians. They will never shoot first. They play in groups. They'll help you. Say you need a cure, they'll give you a cure. You know, they play the good guy role, and that's how they choose to play. And I think that's awesome. You know, a lot of these games don't have storylines. This game, no different. You know, you don't have an elaborate story you're playing up to, but people have the ability to play up the story for themselves. And if guys want to be good guys, they absolutely have the option to play as good guys and only kill bandits. And obviously, if you're a person that just likes to play as a bandit and just be that guy, I'm that guy, absolutely shoot whoever you want, get your negative reputation, and you know, you move on from there. You're red named. People probably won't trust you very often, but that's what it is. And you know, one big difference is, I mean, and I don't know if it makes a difference for really anybody. It may, but if you're a good guy and you die and spawn, stay in a safe zone, you start with a flashlight. Where if you're a bandit, you start with nothing but bare fists. The spawn system when you die, that's another thing. Definitely we could talk about here. You have multiple options for that. When you die, you have the option to respawn in a safe zone instantly. Say you don't want to do that. If you wait 60 seconds, you have the ability to respawn in proximity. So say you're in a city or in this little gas station place we have here, like a little town. You will spawn outside of it, but you'll spawn relatively close that you could get back and get your stuff, say a zombie killed you. If you're in a group, you can spawn on group, which still isn't going to spawn you right on them, but it's going to spawn you closer to the position than proximity would. You also have the option to spawn in your base. So in this game, another feature that was not in the other game and is really starting to make its way into zombie survival games is base building. Now, I'm too close to a city, so this is something they added that's awesome. They're not letting people build their bases right near cities, and you know, because it could affect gameplay. Now, you just need to be a little bit outside the city, but then you'll have the ability to build yourself a base. What's the advantages of having a base? Well, there's a few advantages. First, like I said, spawn point. You can build a sleeping bag in there, and it gives you another place to spawn. Once you build that base, you can put storage crates in there. So kind of like global inventory, except global inventory is through every server. On that server, you're going to have a place to keep extra stuff. If your GI is already full, stash some stuff in there. The downside to that, if people get into your base, they can destroy it. Now, I think that's awesome. Infestation had lockboxes that were indestructible. I think you should be able to destroy them. That is a risk-reward thing for me. So I'm absolutely enthusiastic that they did that. Other things you can have in your base, you can craft gardens. Now there's a few different gardens once you find the blueprint, which I'll show you here. Broccoli, you could have a broccoli garden, a beet garden, a carrot garden, a lettuce garden, you know, potato garden, tomato garden. Now with those, you have the ability to make food. So, you know, you can self-sustain by making vegetables. Gives you something to eat. So I think that is huge. Now I don't have a base, so I'm sure there's some other stuff you can do in bases that is probably very effective. If I've left something out, please, viewers, comment below, let the people know what I've missed on that. But I do know being able to do that's a big thing. Also, having the ability to put down a campfire. So when I was in the safe zone, you may have seen a campfire. Well, what are campfires good for? Stand near it, it will heal you. If you're bleeding, it'll cauterize your wounds. And on top of that, if you have canned food, like if you find a can of beans, you can take that can of beans, cook them. So now instead of just eating the can of foods to help your hunger, you cook it. It adds even more food to your bank, takes away a bunch of the hunger. So it's an awesome idea to cook food when you have that option. Also, if you happen to acquire an animal trap or create one, you can get raw meat from it. Cook that. Another way to sustain for food. So again, awesome thing you can do. I'll see here if I'm far enough away. Okay, so here I have the ability. You can start your foundation. You put your flag down, and that'll give you a parcel of land that nobody can build within. So you will have an outline of land that's like, hey, this is mine. You can't build inside of this. Gives you a certain amount of area. You take your foundation, and you can start. Other than that, you have structures you can build. So we got a container here that can be used as a shelter. You can build stairs, a fireplace, your storage crate. There's plenty of different things. And it looks like there's a water well here. That's something that I didn't talk about. You can get clean water. So not only can you make gardens for food, you can have water wells to get fresh water. So if you're always playing on that server, you're having trouble finding food or water, guess what? Now you have a way to self-sustain your hunger and thirst constantly. Now the big thing with that is you're going to have to make walls. You're going to have to build your base up exactly like you want. The nice thing is, unfortunately, there's not one around me, but you can actually architect your base in advance. So the walls will be somewhat transparent. You can walk right through them, but you can pre-build what you want. Go out and get what you need, be it wood, parts, toolboxes, whatever you need. You're able to click on the wall by holding E just like you would for looting, and it'll bring up a menu for you. You just have to bring the slider over, and if you have it in your bag, you have everything, you move it over, you hit accept, that wall is then built. So it takes a lot of materials, but again, goes back to the looting system. Everything is important to collect, everything is important to break down. There's just never a reason not to pick stuff up that you can break down. And that's how you'll go about creating your base. Becomes a place to store stuff, self-sustain, especially if you play on a server. You play with some friends, build a couple bases close to each other. You have yourself a little bit of a community. Something that's not in the game I'm really hoping is coming is clan housing. So that's something I'm really looking forward to, is clan housing. So that's about all I've got here. If I've missed anything, again, please comments below, put it in there so any other viewer will have an idea of a few things I may have missed in this video. Personal opinion. So this whole video, what's it about? It's not just about talking, it's about my personal opinion. You know, some of you actually might want to know, what do I think of the game? Well, just before I say, I will say from experience, I did play War Z Infestation and I did really enjoy it. I agree with most of the problems that the cash shop had, and they've really eliminated that here. I've played H1Z1, I've played DayZ, the mod, also the early access version, and they're all good games, and they're all different in their own right. You know, with H1Z1, base building really is there now. I'm not sure, I haven't played DayZ in a while, if that's something that's there, but you know, they're all in the same genre, and to me the big things are the mechanics. The games all feel differently, so it's to each their own. So for me, the mechanics in this game are awesome. They're very smooth, responsive. You're getting what you're getting with the game, and I really feel people need to just kind of let go of the fact that this was a company that at one time made a different game. I believe this company deserves a fresh start with Artemis at the head. He really is trying to make the best game possible here and doing it fairly. I think it's worth supporting, you know. But if you hated War Z Infestation on the mechanics, you didn't like the shooting, you didn't like the melee, you didn't like the zombies, whatever it might be, then this game probably still isn't going to be for you. It's still very similar on a smaller scope that way. Obviously the game has expanded. As I've said, there's base building, the crafting, so much is different. It's a completely different map, but at the core mechanics the game is exactly the same. So if you disliked War Z Infestation, this game probably isn't for you. If you're somebody who's never played zombie apocalypse games and you're like, well, which one should I get? Is Aftermath a good option? Absolutely, Aftermath is a good option, and I think it's a game that you should really consider putting your money towards. You like DayZ, H1Z1, and you're just looking for another option, you know, something that feels a little bit different. Again, this game is absolutely worth your money, even in the fact that it's early access. I think this game is really pulled well together in the state it is in, and I can't see a reason why I couldn't recommend this to people. You know, but everybody's going to be different. So for me, I definitely give it a thumbs up, and I believe this game is worth playing wholeheartedly. If you play it, I hope you feel the same way. Any other comments? You know, you play it already and you have any other comments below, or I missed anything, please leave some comments below. I want to thank you for watching this video. Hopefully, if you're on the fence about the game, this has helped you regardless of which way it is. And if this video has been helpful, it'd be great if you gave the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. That would help greatly. And I hope you guys have a great day. Talk to you.